Beauty is a personal concept, a mix of the environment in which you grew up and the genes you inherited. Beauty is interesting because the monetary system has abused it. The monetary system is based on continuous consumption, and currently there are thousands of important companies that produce products and services for people. This has created competition between these companies. Utility is no longer the most important aspect of an object, because most objects achieve the same utility. Instead of focusing on utility, more emphasis is placed on aesthetics to attract customers, because beauty comes in more variety than utility. People have passed from "I need" to "I'd feel better if I had." So people buy things because of its appearance and not for its utility. You buy clothes because you like how it looks. You buy cars based mainly on appearance. You build buildings mostly for looks and buy decorations for the same reason, appearance. As normal as this decor seems to you, as aberrant as it actually is, it's like you've bought a telescope for its appearance and not for its functionality. There is nothing wrong with appreciating design, but it's totally absurd when you put it above utility. Beauty is also applied to the appearance of a human, and its opposite, ugly, causes a lot of misery for society. Some people are regarded as beautiful, others ugly, but who categorises them, and by what criteria? Take this example. You see a fat girl with a boy that has a big nose. You'll say that they are ugly. But why? It's because you are confident about your looks, but if you analyse yourself before labelling someone else, you'll be surprised. Let me analyse you. You'll say that the fat girl is ugly because she has more fat in her body. Because she's different from society's model? Do you relate her looks to how a woman's body should develop? If you do, then you can say that the fat girl is different, but why should you say that she's ugly? As you can see, you're influenced by society, environment, friends, television shows. You are like a mirror of society. There are people who prefer fat women or guys with a big nose, or find other abnormal body parts attractive, so try to limit yourself to observe beauty and appreciate it, just that.
Some men like a fat ass, some like big tits, some like small tits, blonde hair, red hair. So all these guys are different. So if a guy marries a girl because she's competent mentally, but she has small tits, he's always looking at big tits because he was brought up that way. You know what I mean? Don't compare that to the guy. That's the way he was brought up. If you understand that, you can understand he's always looking. But I told you before, on the South Seas, men never looked at a girl's butt. Not because they're good or bad. They were brought up nude, so they don't collect pictures of nude women.
Beauty magazines are creating models of human appearance, classifying it as beauty, and many people tend to copy it. What few people know is that all the pictures that are published in this magazine are first edited. Beauty magazines want to make you feel like you aren't beautiful enough, to encourage you to purchase beauty products, which generates a profit for them. Unfortunately, this concept is promoted by the monetary system. Many products are made for looks. When many people need utility, it's a real waste. There are even jobs in which people that are considered good looking are paid for that, called models. Because the monetary system established that some models are considered beautiful, anything different is seen as ugly, and beauty is made universal. Another example of our current psychosis: fashion critics. They are people who give their opinion about how others dress and earn money from it. Take this picture as an example. Read what fashion critics write. But what do they actually criticise? The clothes form doesn't match. The clothes type do not match, some for winter, some for summer. Some may criticise the people who wear sunglasses at night, but how do they suddenly observe the utility when they are so focused on design? Do they just want to criticise? Do the colours not match? Do they really know what colours are and how human beings see?
The human eye, one of the most powerful instruments on Earth. On a clear day, we can spot the smallest detail in the widest view. But what the eye sees is not the full picture. Alongside the world we see is a very different world. An invisible world of hidden forces and powers that shapes every aspect of life on Earth. Now technology can open a door on that hidden world, revealing its mysteries and showing us the true wonder of the world we live in. Right now, the crew are protected only by their mesh suits and the fact that they're not earthed. For a few seconds, the helicopter and the power line are bonded together, a huge electrical field surging around them. Caught by the specialist camera, the images revealed concentrated hotspots of corona, where the sharp points of the rotor blades bend and intensify the electrical field. When the air reacts with this intense electrical field, it creates an invisible light discharge, and it's this light that the camera is tuned to detect. But to the naked eye, it's completely invisible. The corona is as real as the power lines themselves, but it's part of a vast, invisible world that lies hidden from our sight. I will need this. Because although our eyes are incredibly clever and powerful, they're only sensitive to a very narrow band of light. If you pass light through a prism, like a sheet of water, it splits what the brain sees as white light into a spectrum of 7 different colours, each in a well-defined place. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, the visible light spectrum. Together, these 7 colours account for all the wavelengths of light that we can see. But what lies beyond this spectrum? In other words, out here, past violet, or over here,
beyond red? Well, as far as the eye is concerned, nothing. But that's far from true.
In fact, the light spectrum stretches far beyond the visible light we can see.
You can think of the spectrum of light as a bit like the notes on a piano. Imagine these 7 notes represent the visible spectrum with the familiar colours of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. So all that we can see accounts for this octave. But that, in fact, is just a tiny percentage of the entire spectrum of light. If you want to be exact, it's 0.00000000001%. And just like this piano has many other notes, light exists in many other wavelengths, with infrared down here, ultraviolet up here. And that is just a beginning.
If our visible spectrum is just 1 octave on this piano, then to represent the entire spectrum from gamma rays to X-rays and right through to radio waves, you'd need the keyboard to extend and extend and extend. Still going, right out as far as the sun, 93 million miles away. That's a very big piano. And in that huge invisible realm, even the most familiar things are not quite what they seem. Our own sun, a benign source of warmth, life, and the vague hope that you might have a barbecue tomorrow. But go beyond what we see, and we get a very different picture of our nearest star. In ultraviolet, our benign sun becomes a writhing mass of violent and dangerous activity. These UV images from a space telescope reveal supercharged gases 1 million degrees hot and solar flares rising thousands of miles above the sun's surface. We can even see the intense magnetic fields that create dark sunspots and solar storms. And X-ray telescopes reveal what we could never see with the naked eye: the sun's outer atmosphere, a ring of glowing gases hotter than the sun itself. Back down on Earth, it's X-rays that have transformed our visible world, letting us see it in a completely new way.
The idea of using X-rays comes from a very simple property of light. We see the world around us because visible light bounces off objects and enters our eyes, where receptors in our retina can detect it. Switch that light off and nothing.
Did you see how the environmental influence works? And most important, did you see how far from reality these people are? As you saw, the more you know about reality, the less you base your judgments on these artificialities, which are taken to the extreme. So, education. Remember that the monetary system is the one who created this situation and also perpetuates it. Humans have 5 senses and have abused one of them. Sight? How can they be sure that some colours or forms don't mix well? Or that some shapes are beautiful and others are ugly? It's humble that an industry was created from a sense, sight, an industry that can't rely on anything to define its values.